All right, welcome everybody. We recording this live, but we're recording this on Zoom, so we're gonna have a little edit on it, and then we'll put it out. But we wanted to do a short, concise version of what a PMA is, why it works, and how people can utilize it, particularly in the gym industry, because it's an easy transition from a membership-based facility to switch over to the private and not have the governor control us any longer, not have anybody control us any longer. We don't have to bend over backwards for the state. We don't have to make up ridiculous rules and follow their ridiculous rules and regulations of what they're doing. We can be in control of our own situation and make things safe and healthy, and for all that, for all of our members of the association. So, David, I'll let you take it. As far as the statute, from a statute standpoint and a constitutional standpoint, or what needs to be done for the PMA to be effective?
All right, first of all, a PMA is a private membership association. It is its own entity. And what we have to understand is that we have different standing that we can have. So we have the right to stand as the people and exercise all our rights. We have the ability to be government personnel or persons that work for the government, in which when we sign up for a government job, we have restrictions and regulations placed on us immediately by the terms of the contract that we find in the statutes. So the statutes might say that if something happens, the governor can restrict all personnel. So what happens is the personnel are the people who decide to take jobs under the government, therefore binding themselves to the statutes. When you look at corporations, corporations are business entities that get protection, limited liability, or certain protections from liability and benefits from the government in order to be used in that state. So when you come together and partner with the government, you get to use the insurances, you get to use the benefits that the state would have, the protections, the right to be sued and to sue. You get these different things that the government are giving you, but in return they get to bind and regulate you at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So that's what, like when I was taught, opening a business early on, get an LLC. They always tell you, get an LLC. So what we're saying is that you don't need to you can have an LLC if that's what's required for your
Commerce.
Yeah, for your commerce, or to sign with your landlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
To have an LLC. But what you can do with the LLC is use it, but you're gonna sublease your space out to the PMA, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. And then that's how you utilize the LLC for your space to get your space and to keep it, obviously to pay your rent to your landlord, but the PMA would be subleased out to that.
Well, there's many different ways. I mean, some people can get buildings as a private entity. Some people can get buildings as a public entity, but then the public entity agrees to only work with private entities by right. So the public entity could never tell a church, hey, you can't use our services because you're religious. Mm-hmm. So if the public entity wanted to have a contract with a private entity or become part of a private entity, they can actually join as members and do things by right. So you have to understand, in the constitutions it says that a person shall not be disturbed in his private affairs. So even if you're acting as a person of the government, you do have the right in your private time off the clock to not be disturbed in your private affairs. So if everybody decided to come together at a place and work out because that's their belief that working out helps them, or that's their belief that social activity helps them if they're a restaurant or whatever it is, then what happens is that, as Trump said when he was inside of a public building and people said, hey Trump, why aren't your people wearing masks in here? He said it's a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
See, what he did is exactly what we said on video.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the private exercising our rights.
Yeah.
So when the people come together and decide to stand on their rights individually or collectively, we can do that and the government cannot interfere. So if you're at a place and you're meeting in the private to discuss political issues or to protest. Standing up in the middle of COVID and deciding that the people are going to come together and work out is a protest.
Yeah.
Is letting the government know, hey, you're going past your boundaries. Now we're going to come together for the common good as the people, not as persons.
And that's the difference. Is what the public, like you said, a public official. Let's say it doesn't matter who it could be, military, state official, anybody who works for the government or the state would be bound by their rules and regulations and their statutes. When we are not. In the private, we are not bound to those rules, regulations, and statutes. We set our own rules and regulations as a private membership association. And of course, we make things safe. We disinfect. We're doing all the things necessary. We want our people to be healthy, but we don't need the state to tell us to do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the state has never been good at keeping people healthy.
Well,
you know,
that's true.
The state gave the 5 food groups and gave us bleached bread and bleached flour.
Eat carbs all day.
Yeah. This isn't I don't like to have a health discussion because there's too many theories.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a scientific discussion because there's too many theories.
Yeah.
I just like to use what the law is, because the law, the way that it was written in the Constitution, the Supreme Court has said that, look, we don't make up laws or decide on what people can have as declared rights.
Yeah.
We look at the Constitution exactly how it was written, and we just accept it how it is, and we just tell y'all what it said. So the thing is, we don't have to ask the government for anything. And as a matter of fact, if it's okay, I can show a picture.
Yes, for sure.
To help this to be understood. So it says on the You Can Host. Can you open up here by any chance?
Let me see if it lets me here. Do share content?
Yeah. I can send you a picture through Messenger if I need to.
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Let me send you a picture.
Yeah.
And then it'll
Let me see if it.
So the thing is, we must understand, and I'm going to send you 3 pictures and we can look at these cases. It's in your messenger. So what you do is click on your messenger, open up the pictures in this device, save it to the device, and then share content, fill up your last 3 pictures after you save them. And what this will do is it will show the people that what the attorneys have been telling us. There's some attorneys that's been running around in California telling people, a lady at least, and a man who is a big business attorney, that the government has absolute power and that you don't have rights and all of these things. We need to understand our standing, and this is what attorneys never want you to know. So I can't see, let me see.
I'm pulling up just real quick for the people
On Facebook?
that are on Facebook right now.
Gotcha.
And what I'll do is I'll try to get it connected for everybody else as well.
So that's Shapiro versus Thompson, right?
Yes.
So that's a Supreme Court case. And in this case, it shows us some very powerful things. I highlighted some things. So we can understand what our rights are, what our powers are. And this is something that the government has not shown us. And so if we want to be able to stand and do what we need to do, we need to be able to look at these and use these to the best of our ability to be free, because like I said, the attorneys are not telling us what to do. So if it pulls up on here, Josh, if you can see where you can save it,
Yeah.
and then click on share content, and it should pull up the first picture.
Do I have to get out? I have to punch out of here?
No. Wait, oh yeah, you pull out. Yeah, if you get out of here, it won't leave.
It'll be all right?
It'll leave
Okay,
the-
that's what I want to make sure.
There you go. So you just
Yeah.
left.
Let me go to my give me 1 second, because I had to download this messenger. Let me find it, because I don't keep it on Bentley's iPad here. Okay, got it.
So you just save the 3 pictures, click on them. And then once it's saved to the iPad, you can share content.
Save. Okay.
Just save each one the same way in order.
Okay.
And what we will do is we will show you guys how when you're in the private, you're in a totally different status, and you have rights that your forefathers have put in place that are guaranteed to you, that the politicians guarantee that they will not trespass against those. So now you go to share content, put photos. There you go.
You got it?
So here's the first one. Is going to be Shapiro versus Thompson, 394 U.S. 618. This shows you the case that we are looking at so you guys can get an understanding of what's happening. You can go back and read the case yourself. Now we're going to look at some of the pictures from the citations. And if you look at the citations below, almost, let's say like 2/3 down the page, you see where it says citations. Is going to give you some of the information that is inside of the case that we're going to quote from. You want to hit the other one? The next one. So now we're going to look at the next picture. We're going to do a little bit of reading, and we're going to see the power of the PMA and what the Supreme Court already said. See, a lot of people will tell you what we can't do, but they're not showing you what the Supreme Court has already said. So we're going to look from where it says the constitutional right to travel. The constitutional right to travel from one state to another has been firmly established and repeatedly recognized. United States versus Guest 383 U.S. 745 and 757. This constitutional right, now pay attention closely what it says here, which of course includes the right of entering and abiding in any state in the Union, Truex versus Wright, 239 U.S. 33 and 39, is not a mere conditional liberty subject to regulation and control under conventional due process or equal protection standards. So the government officials want to tell us, well, look, we can put regulations on you and stop you from exercising your rights.
But it says they cannot.
Yes,
do that.
Cannot. So it is not a mere conditional liberty. It's not a conditional liberty. You can't put conditions on it, guys. Subject to regulation and control under conventional due process or equal protection standards. The right to travel freely from state to state finds constitutional protection that is quite independent of the 14th Amendment. United States versus Guest, Supra at 760 17, as made clear in Guest, it is a right broadly assertable against private interference as well as governmental action. So when they think they want to bring you into a governmental court case, they want to do a TRO against you. That's what they tried to do against the NAACP twice, in Alabama and in Arkansas, and lost like crazy. Now look what it says. Like the right of association, NAACP versus Alabama 357-449, it is virtually unconditional personal right guaranteed by the Constitution to us all.
Wait, I thought that lawyer told us that there's no absolute rights.
Yeah, that's what he said. So the gentleman's attorney, who he was talking about paying $15,000 if he had to fight it all the way up, or no, $15,000 to fight his case in California. The attorney didn't even know this case, but what we see is that this is a unconditional, guaranteed right in the Constitution to us all. Now, some people will say, well, is this really guaranteed? Is this really absolute? Can we really stand on this? Let's look at the other picture.
It's the Supreme Court, people.
Yep. See, don't listen to what these silly attorneys say who don't know what they're doing. Look at the Supreme Court, who understands our rights for real.
There we go.
Okay, so here's picture number 3. Mr. Justice Stewart, concurring. In joining the opinion of the court, I add a word in response to the dissent of my brother Harlan, who I think has quite misapprehended what the court opinion says. The court today, now this is what's super important, guys, because these attorneys and these people and people around the nation are trying to tell us we need the court to interpret the law. We don't need the court to interpret what was in plain words from our forefathers. It very simply says this. The court today does not pick out our particular human activities, characterize them as fundamental. Now, people are talking about you being an essential business, not an essential business, an association, or are you really a business? They don't get to do that and give them added protection. To the contrary, the court simply recognizes, as it must, right? The court simply recognizes, as it must, an established constitutional right and gives to that right no less protection than the Constitution itself demands. See, this is why I don't go to a whole bunch of court cases and say, the court said you have a permission to be free and have privacy and not have your body stuck with something. What I do is I say, listen, your forefathers put it in the Constitution. That ends it. It doesn't matter if the freaking court wants to say it's legit or not. Look what it says. The constitutional right to travel from one state to another has been firmly established, repeatedly recognized. United States versus Guest, as we just showed you, the constitutional right, which of course includes the right of entering and abiding in a state, it is not a mere conditional liberty subject to regulation or control under the conventional due process. So what we must understand is that the state.
So they applied that same concept to a couple different cases that were like different cases, like traveling state to state or different things, but they applied the same concept to each one.
To the association.
Yes.
Yes. So the right to move between state to state is undeniable, just like the right of association is undeniable and virtually impossible to penetrate. So when we look at people tell us, oh, we don't recognize PMAs in this state. I don't give a freak what you recognize. It's a guaranteed right. You signed up for your job saying that we have the right to assemble and associate. So if you said it when you made your oath, I don't give a crap. I don't want to hear what you have to say about what you don't accept. It's not your choice to accept it. The people put it in the guaranteed rights of the people, so it's ours. So we need to understand that you don't need to ask for permission to be an association. You don't have to ask for permission to meet together. If they try to make a statute that says, oh, well, in this time we can stop you from meeting, you can't do that.
It's unconstitutional.
You know?
Yeah.
We're going to suspend the Constitution if there's an emergency. William Barr already said you can't do that.
Exactly.
The highest attorney general in the land. So don't be tricked, guys, into thinking that somebody can limit your ability to peaceably assemble. Donald Trump even made the argument the other day. Why aren't you wearing a mask in this room? It's peaceful. It's a peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. We peaceful protest every day here. And that's why I keep telling people, like we've spoken with Ian at Attila's gym and stuff like that, that we don't need to bend over and kowtow to the state government, to any government for that matter, about rights that we already have.
Yeah.
We already have these rights. We don't need to ask them for our rights. Like, we're telling you, these are our rights. You're not going to control what we do in here as a private association.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to move half my gym outside. I'm not going to do anything to try and please you and your health department that's not even elected, that you appointed. I don't need to please you. We can do it the way we want to do it here and do the best we can with it.
Well, just think about it this way. The COVID program police and the Space Wars guys in California, they are using they're using the Social Security Act, which is a private trust. It has a board. It is a trust, so-called fund, an insurance policy fund, right?
Yeah.
They're using that to collect money from our Social Security. Now Trump is coming out and saying, hey, all the money is leaving, what's going on? They've been stealing that money over CPS cases, child support cases, and now COVID program. So it's draining it because they're stealing the money, and that's why they lost all the numbers for COVID. So what's happening is they're running an enterprise. At the time they're shutting down everybody else's businesses, they're running an enterprise under Title 42.
So all these people, and I've heard this, because people are, oh my God, Trump got rid of the payroll tax. It's going to take away from our Social Security. People, your Social Security is being robbed by CPS, by child support. They match child support. So if you pay $1,000 a month, the state is matching that $1,000 a month into a slush fund out of your Social Security money.
And they're splitting it up. The people in the courtroom are splitting it up, and then they get a certain percentage and donate it to the general fund.
Yeah,
this is why the legislature won't talk. See, they have to have an independent entity. So child support is independent from government. It's a private entity like the DMV. And they're just making money, and they can't touch the same money that is being taken from the people because it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So the government lets them steal the money from the people and then runs a program and then lets them donate.
So this is truly taxation is theft.
Oh yeah.
This is truly like, this is what we talk about. Taxation is theft. This is what it is. That payroll tax, and Trump knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So when he takes away the payroll tax and the people keep more of their money and help small businesses out, it's not necessarily hurting Social Security per se. They're only hurting Social Security because of robbing from us from other things they're doing.
They're stealing your money, and they sold us a false dream that your money was going to get invested and make money. And no, your money got invested straight into the pockets.
Yeah, they got invested all right. into Nancy Pelosi's refrigerator.
You know what I'm saying? $24,000 refrigerator.
And all that ice cream.
That dang refrigerator should build ice cream.
Well, she's worth $120 million for a reason, right?
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, how people say, oh, these politicians made good investments. Yeah, they did. They invested some writing into a statute that let them steal all your money. That's what they did.
And people are too dumb to figure it out.
They do a magic trick. Money go from your pocket into the freaking Social Security, and then magically goes into their pocket.
And we're telling you, and what do you say to people who are like, well, if that was true, then how do we let that happen? How do we let that happen? Because you all need to fight back. That's the problem.
Well, you guys got to say it like this. If that's true, why are you wearing a mask for something that's less deadly than like the swine flu or something like that? Or SARS? Why are you, the old SARS? Why are you wearing a mask for something that's less virulent than the freaking flu?
Yeah.
It's losing to the flu.
Yeah.
The flu is the reigning champion when it comes between flu and COVID, and you're wearing a mask for it and won't touch your family members and have sex from another room. So that's how it happens.
Yeah, they said solo sex is best now.
Yeah, they're like, me and my wife are gonna have sex. One is gonna be in one room, and she's gonna be across the house. And yeah,
you're gonna Zoom.
We're gonna keep the
You're
world
gonna
safe.
Zoom sex with your wife.
Keep the world safe, right?
I highly disagree with that assumption.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Guys, and this whole thing was a part of just explaining to people why the PMA. And you're going to see things play out here in a few different gyms around the country that David's been working with. You're going to see things play out the next few weeks, and it's going to play out in the favor of the people. And we're going to show you with those cases exactly how this works and how it can work for you. But this is what it is, man. The Supreme Court's already said multiple times from the state level. In Alabama, Arkansas,
Alabama, when California tried to say that the Boy Scouts of America Association was a business, their own Supreme Court said, no, they're not. I think that was called the Randolph case.
Yeah.
No, they're not a business. You can't call them a business. So these people will like to label you as they want to because they understand, just like we said, when they can call you a name in the statutes, they create a statute, name an offender like an obligor for child support, a non-custodial parent for CPS, an owner operator for business, right? And for tickets, when they call you any of that, they're creating a bill of attainder, a bill to name somebody they can easily trap and just nail you. So they know that they're doing wrong. We have to stop them, and we have to exercise our rights. And don't be afraid to stand on your rights. There's court case law that says that you cannot convert somebody using their right into a crime.
Well, they're going to fight you. They're not going to just let you stop them from taking your money.
Yeah.
They're going to fight you, but when it comes right down to the very end, they're going to lose.
This is how tyrants get caught. Tyrants like to go hard at you and then use their force and try to cover it up. And then when too many people find out, they start making threats. Just like the police came out and said they're not going to be shutting off people power and water in California. They realized, y'all done went a little bit too far, and we're finding out that that's against the Constitution. You can't shut off people's water, so we're not doing that. So now everybody's starting to turn on each other. It's the same thing that happened with child trafficking. So that's what we got to do. Exercise our rights. Don't be afraid. Let them make their little threats, but give them a penalty. If they want to tell you got to pay them $1,000 a day, write a contract, make them pay you $20,000 a day. No big deal. And we'll show you how to deal with it later on.
All right, guys, that's all. We're going to keep it short, concise. We're going to come back and do these kind of shorter 20-minute videos over time so you guys can, for all you people with ADD out there, which is most of you, the microwave generation, you can try to look at stuff. But you can look the stuff up yourself. The stuff he showed you can look it up. We showed you here. Screenshot it off your phone. Read up on it, because this is how we fight back. This is one of the ways that we fight back, including affidavits. So we're going to talk about more of those later on. Okay, guys?
Cool.
All right.
Peace.